Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Focus on Liberia's On Point. With me is my critical co-host from Canada, George Kenneth Tulay. Today we are going to be discussing issues on Liberia. We are going to be looking at geopolitics. We are going to be looking at the current event in Liberia as it relates to the Prince Johnson saga. We're going to be talking about the letter from the U.S. Embassy on the election of Prince Johnson as chair of defense. We are going to be looking at the conversation between Darius Dillon and Prince Johnson, and then also on the other side of that debate is Nyobli Kanga Lawrence, the chair of the Liberty Party. Her part in the war, was she a victim? Did she benefit from the war? Is she doing all she can to make sure that war crime court is realized in Liberia? We are also going to be touching on the sovereignty of the Republic of Liberia. Is it prudent for another sovereign country to dictate to another sovereign country? Is it true that he who pays the bill calls the shot? If that is the case, is this what's going on in Liberia? Because our partners fund most of our projects and our government, so they dictate as to what we do, when we do it, how we do it, when we sleep, when we wake up. We're going to be discussing that. And on this particular platform, obviously, I have to be biased to some degree because I support the government. On the other hand, you see my younger brother, Mr. Tulay, well articulate, a guy who can represent the opposition from the Liberty Party standpoint and their philosophy. A very, very educated, smart, and capable of defending the opposition. He at times gets into trouble with his base because sometimes he becomes very objective. He's nationalistic in some sense, and that rubs the CPP and the Liberty Party the wrong way. They prefer that he goes on the attack, even make references to things that he doesn't have the facts about. But he is a different breed of politician. So we are going to talk about these issues. I'm going to turn it over to him, my co-host, Mr. Tulay. Where do you stand? How are you and the family? And let's delve into Liberia geopolitics.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Gayman. So, viewing audience, we want to say welcome to On Point. It's a pleasure having you guys once more again on this Sunday afternoon or evening as we deliberate on these issues pertaining to Liberia. We like to make our show very current because we want to be able to discuss issues that are obtaining, issues that are emerging, issues that are very germane to the national political and socio-economic discourse of Liberia. It's important that we keep being relevant by looking at current contemporary issues. And one of the things that is buzzing in Liberia right now, trending nationally, is the issue of the War Crimes Court. Since the end of the war, we know what happened to Charles Sierra Leone took. They didn't have all the clamor that they have political leaders that exhibited the will to bring about accountability and they demanded accountability, established the International Court for Sierra Leone. And today we know what's happening. What was the result of that of the court's work? Foday Sankoh, Hinga Norman, Charles Stiller, they were all held accountable for the atrocities that occurred in Sierra Leone. But Liberia is always a special case because we are people who don't really know what we want. Okay, we are people who we will back politicians, even though we don't benefit from their largesse. We don't benefit from what their wealth. We just back them because we believe we must pick a side, and we don't have any nationalistic bones in us as Liberians. We are existential in our mentalities. We believe in what is for me now is better than what is for the general public for tomorrow. So as a result, we are able always to mortgage our future, sell our birthrights for little or nothing, for pittance. And at the end of the day, people go smiling to the bank while we complain and we are hungry as a nation. And that is the malaise that affects Liberia as a nation. And we have to change this by changing minds. All right. Why haven't we had accountability? Madam Salif decided that there was going to be no accountability, and the whole nation just sat back supinely, accepted her undermining of the whole judicial process as regard to the or war crimes code in Liberia. Today, she's still working in the background, fracturing the CPP through her evil machinations. And we are sitting down again. People are saying, "Oh, we don't want to go against Madam Salif." No, I want to go against Madam Salif. I am prepared to go against Madam Salif. And thank God I'm not in Liberia where they will send somebody to my house again in the middle of the night to come and kill me. It's not possible now. Okay? But I am prepared to go against Madam Salif because Madam Salif is evil. She will do everything so that while she's alive, there will never be a war crimes court in Liberia that she will have to account for her evil activities from Nimba raid to the 85 November aborted coup and the 1990 or 1989 invasion of Liberia by Charles Taylor and Moses Duopu, the fracture group that became IMPFL, MPFL. We know the story. So this is where we are today. So Mr. Gayman, it's going to be a full day, a full house. I'm encouraging those who are, connected right now to share the video so that we can have more people tuning in so that this discussion can really make impact in the lives of people. I know a lot of people view it after we leave. Sometimes we have 11,000, 10,000 views, but we want this one to, for more people to tune in right now. So please share the video as we are about to start.
Thank you very much. And obviously, as our brother had just alluded to, share the video. You have the opportunity to call in or to make comments. The reason Liberia usually doesn't get what it deserves is that most people who are supposed to get involved will sit back and let somebody talk for them. In philosophy, we call it consent by inconsensual agreement. If you don't participate, then it's called decision by indecision. If you don't make the decision, somebody makes the decision for you. And this communication and this discussion is now trending. And we are saying, get involved. Do not allow anybody to speak for you. We want you to actually discuss these issues, and we're gonna come back to those things. For instance, Mr. Tulay, you talked about the destruction or the intent of the invisible hands to destroy the CPP to make sure that war and economic crime code doesn't happen. But how does that affect your standing? Because you are a registered member of the Liberty Party within the CPP. How does that affect the CPP? I mean, the Liberty Party standing within the CPP?
Yeah, but if we do you want us to go? I know I brought up something that is very enticing for you, because something that is very, very sweet for you, because anything that projects the CPP in a negative light, you will go for it. But let's go down the path that we created. Our reaction to the U.S. Embassy statement concerning Prince Johnson's committee chairmanship. Now, this is my problem with this. One of the things I have with this is the fact that Prince Johnson have been the chairman for that committee for a very, very long time. Okay, he became the chairman for the committee when Madam Salif was president. All right, I think it was in the 52nd or 53rd, I think 52nd legislature. He became chairman of that committee. Why? Because people felt that, as a former rebel leader, somebody now who is now in the House, in the Senate, he was very decorum with he was very aware of security issues, and he would speak the lingua franca of the security services. So why not use him in that position? Also, again, the easiest way to keep something or cheese is to give it to the rat for the rat to keep it, and like that it won't lose. So maybe that was the reason why the mentality behind. But it also speaks deeper. It shows that we're not serious people in Liberia at all. There are two countries in Africa right now that are really, really, really very similar the lack of nationalism, the lack of seriousness that Liberia and DRC Congo. These are the two countries where people will go and murder people and become warlords and destroy lives and property, and then at the end of the day, they will reward them with political office. So Prince Johnson is not a stranger. He's been the head of the Committee on Security and National Defense for a very, very long time. So this is nothing new. Okay, why haven't the Americans spoken? Are they not aware? Were they not involved with Prince Johnson and the machinations and the behind the scene dealing that led to Prince Johnson capturing and murdering Samuel Doe? They were. Okay, there is nothing about Prince Johnson, whether the murder of Tecumseh Roberts or the murder of Fred Blade, the murder of Michael Doe, the murder of Lada Mutada, all these different people. This is just the tip of the iceberg. What's about those who we don't know? Those who are not prominent political or figures during the days. The reason why I know Lada, because Lada was my schoolmate from Isaac Davis Memorial School, and she went to CWA while I went to Rick's Institute. Okay, when the war came, Lada lived across the bridge, or she moved across the bridge for safety, and Prince Johnson made advances because she was mulatto. And she was a very beautiful young lady. So when she turned him down, he decided he was going to murder her, and he formed reasons why he could murder her, and he did murder her. So what my point here, before you come in, my point here is my reaction to this is this: it's disingenuous, but also again, let's look at something. The guy who is there now, the U.S. ambassador, wasn't Leonard Thomas Greenfield. Leonard Thomas Greenfield was in Ellis Johnson's Sirleaf's pocket, so anything will fly. Anything Madame Sirleaf wanted, she supported. When Madame Sirleaf did not want the establishment of the war crimes and economic crime court in Liberia, Linus Thomas Greenfield was silent on the issue. America will deal with Liberia based on what her representatives says. So nothing could be done because Linus Thomas Greenfield is a paddy, is a friend, a very close buddy of Madame Sirleaf. Now, the guy who is there now believes in accountability. That's why he put up the statement that is saying they are in disagreement and they will never deal with the committee as long as Prince Johnson is head of the committee. Today is the time for accountability. Forget about how long it has been.
Well, that is not for. Let's get this very, very clear. I think we have to establish a flag here. We need to plant our poles here and claim our turf. Let's make it clear. Where do you personally stand? Before we go to the embassy, where do you stand with the Economic War and Crime Court? Where do you stand?
I want the Economic Crimes Court in Liberia. I want it because I believe in closure. I believe that there must be accountability for Madame Sirleaf, for Prince Johnson. Sammy Doe is dead. Tulay is dead. Somebody asked the question. I'm reading one of the statements, and somebody asked the question in one of the comments they made. What's about the crime the people Doe committed? Doe committed a lot of atrocities. The difference here is with Doe is already dead. Are we going to judge him? Are we going to judge him post-mortem? I don't think so. He's already dead. My thing is, let's focus on those who are alive, who have been parading themselves, okay, and this is my point. My point here is this is necessary. It's necessary for closure. If the TRC report was respected and adhered to, Madame Sirleaf would not be where she is today, causing trouble, making sure.
This is why I asked the question, because my opinion is that for someone that have followed the establishment and the crime in Liberia, I have an opinion of my own, and I know this because it's based on fact, it's based on history, and it's based on the social psychology of power. I know for one that the establishment of war and economic crime court in Liberia is a farce. It's not logical, because those who are responsible for the war in Liberia will never be brought to justice. Therefore, for instance, let's look at those that raised the first $2 million to purchase the arm, to sponsor Charles Taylor, Tom Wowoju, and that group into Libya, to distribute the arms and all of those things, and those who continue behind the scene to raise the money, names that you and I know. Who bear the greater responsibility? Those who raised the money, bought the arms, distributed the arms, or the poor and innocent folks who use the arms to slaughter each other. So in my view, those with the most, and like I said, the greatest responsibility of this war are those who are in the diaspora, those who will never be touched. And Ellen herself alluded to it. She said, yes, she played the Pontius Pilate kind of thing. I gave you the cross, I gave you the nail, I gave you the space to crucify the man, but I didn't tell you to kill Christ. Now he tried to wash his hands as though he was not part of the crucifixion. This is Ellen's point. Ellen said, I raised money, I supported the war, but it was for humanitarian purpose within the war. Now you tell me, can you go into a war zone, give money to buy war, to support the war? And the purpose of buying arms is to kill, to destroy. And then you say you hope that part of that money had gone to humanitarian purposes within the war zone. Is that possible when even the war have not started? What was the intent? And the final outcome of the war was, like she said, level Monrovia, and we will rebuild it. These are the folks who are behind the scenes. So I am saying, for war and economic crime to be successful in Liberia, we have to grab those who are actually responsible. Everybody is looking at maybe one or two people, but what's about those who raised the millions? What's about the Urians of the world that were the gun runners? What's about the Urians of the world that held position in the government at the time, that siphoned the wealth of the nation, now to become one of the richest men according to Forbes in Liberia? Where did he get that money? These people, according to Prince Johnson and according to Master Washington, the actual list that was presented, or that should have been presented by the TRC, was actually revised. And Invisible Hand removed those names that were responsible. And Mr. Verda presented a form, or a final list that broke the camel's back, per se, that divided the TRC. Now you tell me, I am saying, and you know what I'm talking about, because you know it is for the fact that we are not going after the real perpetrators of the war, those that raised the money, that purchased the arms, that distributed the arms. Now you tell me, how in the world are we going to go after those people when we are concentrating on Prince Johnson, Yeke Koluba, those people who do absolutely very little and have the power to kill, to manufacture that? You respond to that. That's my point. This is why I oppose the war and economic crime code, because it's going to be a shell, it's going to be a facade, it's going to be a joke.
Okay, let me counter what you just said. It is not because people will preempt or people will subvert justice that stops us from trying to ensure that justice is done. We know that there will be people working so that they cannot be held accountable. That still doesn't stop us from establishing the court and making sure and fighting to institute justice. When the Nazis or the Third Reich surrendered to the Allies after the World War II, they arrested a lot of Nazis, around 4,000, and only a handful were held accountable. Still, the fact is, as much as people were justice was subverted to a level and to an extent, people like Joseph Mangala was never brought to justice because he fled and he lived in the shadows until he died. The fact is, some people were held accountable. Those people in the shadow, that list that you said was changed. Somebody somewhere have a record of that list. That still shouldn't stop us from instituting justice, from establishing the court, and for making sure that the court has wide-ranging prosecutorial authority to hold people accountable. So they don't preempt the court by saying, "Oh, I know people will not be held accountable." That is preempting justice. Give justice a chance. There will be people that will rise up, and I've always said this thing. I said there will be a referendum. There will be an inquest on Madam Salif's actions regarding Liberia for the last 50 years. There will be an inquest. But coming back a little bit, if we look at what the U.S. embassy said, that's the reason why I said it. I said what I said. You will say, "Oh, for 10 years they were silent." Yes, it doesn't matter. There will always come a time for justice. When Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge were held accountable, it was more than 30 years after they left power, or 20-something years after they left power. So there is no statute of limitation on the actions regarding war crimes. So if a government is cozy, okay, if a government is cozy and is friendly with criminals and refuse to hold them accountable, there will come a government that will rise up and I will say, "Okay, you know what? I will hold you accountable for what you have done." So stop preempting that is not your preemption is not enough grounds for there not to be an establishing of the court.
Well, listen, there can never be something called partial justice. If the justice is not going to be served correctly, then there should be no justice at all. Because if you are going to hold, because I know from what I'm hearing and from those that I'm speaking, their only target is as long as you get Prince Johnson, then justice has been served. No. And I see exactly where they are going with this. Prince Johnson, according to most of them, is their target here. What I'm saying here, that should not be the case. And if you are going to say, well, we should implement the TRC report, the TRC report cannot be implemented.
Can I ask you a question? So you are saying that Prince Johnson is a low-hanging fruit when it comes to justice regarding the war? Is that how you look at him?
Prince Johnson is one of 10. Is one of 10 per se. But we are leaving at 9 and saying this particular 10th will bring closure. And that's not true. But while we're on that, let's go back to your Liberty Party infight. Let's look at the fight that's going on between Darrell Dillon and Steve Zago. Okay, Darrell Dillon is saying that Steve Zago is an ingrate and has betrayed the CPP. And
well, you want to move, but we have not finished exhausting this issue.
No, we are coming. I'm coming back to that. But I don't want us to miss this because it has something to do with the War and Economic Crime Court. It has something to do with our sovereignty, and it has something to do with our democracy. Now, you tell me, Darrell Dillon is saying Steve Zago is an ingrate, and Steve Zago should be expelled because he has betrayed the cause of the CPP. What is your take on this particular issue? Because it has a lot of implications as it relates to everything, including the re-election of President Weah, including what the embassy just said, including the stand of the Liberty Party in the CPP, and include the stance of Liberty Party versus Unity Party in the CPP coalition. I need your understanding and opinion on this.
Okay. My opinion on this is this. I am in total disagreement with what Musa Belete is doing to Liberty Party. I'm in total disagreement with the role Madam Salif is playing in bringing clamor and animus in the Liberty Party and using it as a backdoor to fracture the CPP. I'm a big picture guy. You and I had this conversation some time ago. I told you this. I said, hypothetically, the Liberty Party is poised because she has the second largest constituency within the CPP. The first largest constituency in the CPP is the Unity Party. Second is Liberty Party. Liberty Party plays a very pivotal role. And I broke down the control of Liberty Party, the entire what we consider as the Bassa Belt, parts of Lofa County, Montserrado, and Margibi, which is also part of the Bassa Belt, Bong, and Nimba County. And I told you, I said Liberty Party could situate herself in a very prominent position, emerging from whichever ticket as the vice president on the ticket. And I told you, I said it's a possibility. Now, when you come to the specific issue of Dillon attacking, one of my disagreements right now is that Dillon will allow himself. Dillon is a party loyalist, but to allow himself to be used, for whatever nefarious reason, by Madame Salif regarding a party that Charles Bronski established. And we who worked around him, some of us imbibed his principles and ideology. Not every one of us. Because a lot of people that are part of Liberty Party today are belly driven. They are only around politics for the little one or two change that they can get. That's why they clamor and try to situate themselves so that they can have prominence, so that they will have political actors will have to deal with them, so for them to get ill-gotten gains. I've never seen politics as a means to an end. I'm always somebody who believes in raising money and making my own money. So when you come forward to what is going on in the Liberty Party, I'm in total disagreement. Because whatever Zago did, this man had been in this position for 10 years or more. And what do you think? Is there something new? Zago knew that he wasn't going to get the votes. It was his right to withdraw. I forced to participate. Can you hold me accountable for not participating in an election? If I feel in myself that my opponent is my rival, has more votes, why waste my time? That is my point. Apart from that, I've said this: no sane political actor will want to alienate or cause ambivalence between they and Steve Zago. Zago is one of the largest private employers in Liberia. I'm telling you this. He owns a security service, and they have one of the biggest rural contracts for one of the largest mobile telephone providers in Liberia. Apart from that, in Vonjama, Zago owns the largest hotel. He also operates, if my memory serves me right, from the conversation he and myself had years ago, I think he runs the total in Liberia, in Vonjama. He has a lot of influence with the young people in Vonjama district, and which is the most populous district in Lofa County. And Zago is somebody he's a gentleman. If you have a disagreement with this man, why don't you put him on the side and talk to him? Oh, they said Zago supported Joe Boca in the last election. What do they expect? When Charles Bronski did not go to the second round, what do they expect? Joseph Boca is a father to all of us from Lofa County. He is very close with some people. So if you see somebody supporting somebody like that, or you have a problem with it, the fact that Musa Berede can be repeating these things, it means that Musa Berede came to Liberty Party on a mission. And his mission was to bring about the domination of Liberty Party by Ellen and her crew. So I am totally in disagreement with what Darius is saying, or what the machinations that are going on behind the scene regarding Zago. I mean, I feel it's not politically prudent. And I also feel that it shows to me that the people who are controlling Liberty Party today do not carry the political DNA of Charles Bronski. They don't have scruples. They are not honest. They don't look at the bigger picture. They are belly driven. And because of that, they are putting the party into a place where there will be fractures, and as a result, there will be all kinds of problems, and it will affect Liberty Party and it will affect the CPP, because Madame Salif is the hand behind the scene pulling the strings. Musa Belete is Madame Salif's henchman. When Musa Belete went to Liberty Party, it was because Madam Salif told Dangote that she supported the candidacy of Charles Bronski. So she sent Musa Belete to work with Charles Bronski. He became campaign manager. It wasn't a bad thing, despite Musa's or legal issues and all of that. After the election, when Musa Belete remained around the party, he loved the party, he stuck around, but they also had a master plan that they have been instituting. The plan was Musa will wrest control of the party by becoming chairman. And because they have ill-gotten gains, they can be able to throw the financial weight around. Like I said, most of the people in Liberty Party did not imbibe Charles Bronski's ideology, Charles Bronski's character, and Charles Bronski's principles. Therefore, they are in the party today, and they are only using the party to get ahead.
So you are telling me that the likes of Nyobli Kanga, the likes of Darrell Dillon, who just came into the party, because to bolster what you said, at one time, Darrell Dillon made a comment. He said, George Weah makes stars. George Weah make ordinary people, and he made he gave an example. He said, whenever George Weah raises a hand, like the Mona Penance of the world, the judges of the world, the former senator for sheriff of the world, Joe, we are raised their hand and they are somebody. They unlike us. Our leaders want us to carry their back until they die. They never made us. Do you think what you are talking about has some impact or some relevance to this internal grudge or some revenge, to the point where the young man said, George Weah makes leaders, and the Liberty Party, we're talking about Bronski, prefer that the young minds of the Liberty Party carry his bag until he died. So maybe there is some relevance to that. Before you answer that, just think of while you're answering that, think about the commotion between Nyobli Kanga and Prince Johnson, and then we'll come back to that. So is there a connection between Dylan when he said, Joe, we are raising his hands in Montserrat, wherever he goes, and he creates stars. And the Liberty Party had preferred the same to carry his bag until he died. Respond to that.
You see, one of the tragedies of Liberia is this. Whenever you find, and he came, that was before you say, when did Jerome make this statement, if I may ask, because I'm not aware of it.
Oh, well, he made it during his campaign. The
recent campaign, or the one that he lost?
The one that he won with the when he took over Sheriff, the one for the 1 year.
And he's sure Dylan made such a statement?
Yes. We can pull it
up.
up.
I'm not aware of the statement.
But if he did.
And no. My point here is that I'm not aware of the statement. Okay. But I find that statement to be disingenuous.
Okay.
I find the statement to be very, very disingenuous. In terms of leadership, you're comparing apples and oranges. George Weah has no leadership ideology. He has no functioning political philosophy. So he doesn't make people, in other words, all right, people who have used the populism in CDC as a vehicle to further their own gains or their own political futures. It's not because George Weah made them necessarily. So I find that statement to be very, very disingenuous. But when you look at Bronski wasn't a perfect man. People accuse him of being arrogant and everything. The Bronski that I know, I fought him on a lot of things. And you know me, I do not blindly follow anybody. The only reason why I followed Bronski because I weigh him and I found out that there was no disparity in the message he carried and the life he lived in terms of his principles. The only thing I found that he had his human weaknesses. And I realized that the best man is still a man at his best. The only person that was perfect on the face of the earth was Jesus Christ. Okay, but in terms of accountability, honesty, integrity, he was almost faultless. But when it comes to issues of temperament and sentiments and sensitivity, it was a different ball game. He had faults in those areas, and I will be the first person to point that out. All right, and but like I said, he was a man. And was he the best person to have run Liberia in 2006? I would say yes, because he had a plan, he had a vision, he wanted the nation to go in a particular way, and he will work on the judiciary. So I don't want to go back there, but anyways, I don't. You can. I find a statement not. That Dylan made, I find it to be disingenuous. If he made that statement, I find it to be basically biting the hand that fed you, all right? Because Charles Bronski, because of the place that Charles Bronski gave Dylan, Dylan had come to very, very, very serious political relevance. Despite what people would say about him, he didn't complete school, he didn't do this. I know him to be a very astute gentleman. But so if he made a statement, I find it that the statement was ill-advised. Now, if you ask me again, let's go forward because you said you wanted us to make the show a little bit shorter today. The picture that you've seen CDC people spreading about Yombli Kanga is not Yombli Kanga. That's Cecilia Lewis, the late Cecilia Lewis. In other words, and people are saying that she was even from the Mandingo tribe, changed her name, and she became a prominent female fighter with the MPFL, and that was her in that picture. I told you this. I said in 1996, when people are saying the picture was purportedly taken, I said no, it wasn't. That picture was of Agnes Stiller, and in 1996, she wasn't in the picture in such a way. But anyways, the thing is, by that time, the 1996, 97, or 95, Yombli was in a relationship with a very prominent figure, and she wasn't carrying arms for anybody. That I know. I'm not saying somebody told me. But what relevance does that have to do with the advocacy for war crimes court in Liberia? What relevance is that? I don't believe that it has any relevance, because even if I took arms during the war, maybe for one reason or the other, did I commit atrocities? Then let's have the court. Let all of us be brought to bear. Let case be advanced before us. Let victims come. That's why we say let's do it now or sooner, so that all the witnesses will not die. People are dying in Liberia daily. We need some of these witnesses to be able to testify to the atrocities that occurred. Let the charges or the accusations be brought forth. Let witnesses come and testify against those who perpetrated these atrocities before they all die off, and then at the end of the day become the Pol Pot in Cambodia, where you want to bring him to, or all his other brothers, you want to bring them to justice, and you can't have witnesses. Most of the witnesses that were there have died.
So are you saying that we should call witnesses to testify as to who committed crime? Is that
because when they bring an allegation against you, like for instance, there were people who survived the Lutheran Church massacre. There were people who survived the sifting of people at the Lutheran compound down the beach. There are people who survived the JFK sifting of people at JFK also. They are witnesses that saw what Tulay did. There are people who survived the Carter Camp massacre. There are people who survived the Phoebe massacre. They're still around. There are people, so it's not one of the big fish we're looking at. We're looking at all these foot soldiers who decided to go on murderous rampages across the country, from the UNIMO, from the MPFL, from the IMPFL, from Lord and Model. It's important that we open up ourselves. If we will forgive people, then no problem. But then people must be held to account.
But listen to this. I know you're trying to vindicate Yombli Kanga here.
Well, you have no evidence. You must have an evidence.
There are those on the other side that are absolute, just as you are, resolute that the picture that we've been looking at is actually the picture of Yombli Kanga. You are saying no. Okay, now Prince Johnson, who was a major actor, we all know. Number two, to Charles Taylor, said that this woman carried arms She didn't say she committed atrocity, but she was a fighter. She carried on. And when I drilled them in Grand Bassa County, her chief of staff or her spokesperson and her brother said all he can say is that she herself was a victim of the circumstance at the time. And I asked, did she ever live in Greater Liberia or however they call that? And was she part of the mayhem there? And he said she was a victim. So we know this to be factual that Prince Johnson, who was there, who was Chancellor #2 in command, basically when they broke up, I can tell you that the general knows what he's talking about. And up to now, when his cybersecurity folks said where that picture came from, there are more to come because basically this is a teaser. They are asking those who are now perpetrating or promoting war crimes.
Jerome, can I stop you 1 minute? Can I stop you 1 minute?
Yes, go ahead.
One of the things we try to do here at Focus on Liberia is to make sure that our discourses are very factual. That if we don't know something, we say we don't know it, we'll go and check so we can come and provide the right information to our viewers. I am telling you today that photograph of Yombi Kanga doesn't exist. One. The second thing I also want you to know is this. Nobody in Liberia have accused Yombi Kanga of committing atrocities. Now, understand something. Let's draw the dichotomy between the two. A lot of us held weapon during the war. A lot of Liberians held weapon during the war. I'm telling you today. But a lot of Liberians did not fight during the war. There's a difference between holding weapon and going on the battlefront or committing atrocities. There's a difference. The truth I want to establish here is, during the war, some people took weapons out of necessity to protect they and those who are dear to their hearts. Did it go far? Yes. But I'm saying this to you to say that it's a non-issue for me. The reason I say it's a non-issue, even if she was the one in the photograph, I'll play the devil's advocate, she was the one in the photograph. Who you know have posted something on Facebook or anywhere else and say, Rumbly Kanga Lawrence held weapon during the war, kill my man, kill my pa. That is the issue. The war crime score, hold on. The war crime score is not coming for those who were rebels alone. It's coming for those who, though being rebel for one group or the other, committed atrocities. That is the issue, and I will not sit here and allow it to be skewed. The issue is we are looking at those who kill people. I'm telling you today, Prince Johnson is talking from his own mouth that he executed this or gave order for one or two persons to be executed because he became judge, jury, and executioner. And I'm telling you that my childhood friend was murdered by Prince Johnson in a very gruesome manner. He tied her and drowned her. He did not even shoot her. He drowned her in the Simple River. That happened much because she turned down his overtures, or he wanted her, she refused. So he murdered her by drowning her in the Simple River.
Okay.
Now, I can say this, and there are witnesses. There were people on the scene who were watching. Yombi Kanga Lawrence, I've been in Liberia. I've associated myself with rebels, worked with some of them. Now, one day, in any conversation, because we know who are committed atrocities in Liberia, now one day, anybody have come and say, Yombly or Diamond, as they call her, committed XYZ atrocities as a rebel. It's not true.
Okay, but listen to this. You say we should stick around facts, and we should be cognizant of what we say, and at least be reasonable. Now, real quick question, yes or no here, if you can. Do you know when that picture was taken? Do you know the actual date?
No, but that's why I'm saying it's a non-issue.
Oh no,
it's a non-issue. The reason why it's a non-issue is it still shouldn't stop the establishment of the war crimes court.
No. We understand where you're coming from. You are saying we should reserve our statement. It should be around facts. And the fact here is that you don't know. I didn't even know that Nyomi Kanga was ever behind line. I didn't even know that she was ever in that position until Prince Johnson brought it out. I don't think you knew. Maybe you knew, but I didn't know. Many people didn't know. And even me, I hosted a young man here by the name of Sonny Diabo. Sonny Diabo, I brought him to this place. We had concert and everything. I was shocked when he returned to Liberia to hear that he had a name. My uncle called me from number 3 in Grand Bazakan to say he was shocked that I was associating myself with Sonny Diabo. I said, what is that? They said, oh, General David was one of the worst human beings in this area. He killed people. I didn't even know that. So there's more to know.
Have you heard, big brother? Have you heard
that
Yombly kill people?
Listen, what I'm saying here is
no. This is just a simple question. Even Prince Johnson accused Yombly of being a mass murderer.
No, not that I know of.
But I can tell you that from bomb mines, I got in bomb mines, I think August 1990. Okay, ask people who were in bomb mines. Prince Johnson got in bomb mines, rounded people up, and murdered people in bomb mines. He went to Fender, rounded people up again. Those who were the target of people from Niba County at that time. Rounded people up in Fender and murdered them. I got to Fender, I heard it, I saw witnesses. People told us what happened. Happy Johnson and his boys went on rampage. What I'm saying to you is, even if I'm accused of being a rebel, it should not stop. Okay, it should not stop the agitation for the establishment of the War Crimes Code. It shouldn't stop it. Okay, if Yombly held weapons, if Yombly was a soldier, if Yombly committed atrocities, or Dylan or any other person, that should not stop us agitating the War Crimes Code. The court should come, and guess what? When the court comes, Yombly, everyone else, charges will be brought against those who perpetrated evil, and they will be made to answer. It's not difficult.
Okay, Mr. Tulay. In the TRC report, was Yombly Kanga's name mentioned?
No.
Okay, in the TRC report, were you one of those that was sent to be persecuted?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we all know Ure was the gun runner for Chester.
But listen to this. In the TRC report, did they mention General Davis?
No, I don't think so.
There you go.
He was a low level. No, I don't. No. We
are talking about atrocities. People who
killed. But that's what I'm telling you now. His name wasn't mentioned in the TRC report.
Okay.
Because you know what? I listened to most of those tapes. I don't think his name was mentioned.
Okay. So does that mean he didn't commit atrocities?
No, but does that mean also we shouldn't open the court so that Yombly, if she committed atrocities that we are not aware of, somebody is somewhere can give proof that she did it? Does that mean that we shouldn't establish a court?
So then you are talking about expanding, maybe scrapping the TRC report and expanding to everybody that was involved?
Everybody, every Liberian. If you kill somebody, even that one person you kill in Rwanda, they did not want to discuss or they don't want to judge the people from the Interhamwe or the government forces that killed 500 persons. If you were found to have killed one person and there was ample evidence brought against you for the murder of a single individual, we're talking about murder of people here. It has nothing to do with political party. Anybody that committed crime, that committed crimes in Liberia, okay, that person should be brought to bear.
Yeah, but
Dennis is saying that Sonny Diabo name was mentioned in the TRC report. What was he one of those recommended to be excluded from political undertakings for 30 years? Okay. Was he one of those? I want that answer from Dennis Jack. But guess what? My point is this: even if Sonny God's name was mentioned as one of the perpetrators, then he should be brought to
okay. Okay, now listen to this. We are looking at the TRC report here, and the model that they won. Okay, everybody has agreed that the South Africa style of TRC is what should have been implemented in Liberia, which is mostly restorative. And we've seen that for the fact that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf have actually implemented restorative justice in Liberia by bringing in those that they felt were wrong from 1980 and making them whole, restoring them. And I would name those that were displaced in 1980 by Doe that were brought back in by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, giving lucrative contract, giving lucrative job that got paid and left the country. They were made whole. I'm talking about M. Jeannie. We're talking about Mr. Estrada Bernard. We are talking about Florence Chineway. We're talking about all of these people were brought back in. We're talking about Mr. Talbot. Richard Talbot came in. He was a member of the Investment Commission. He wrote all 68. He's a lawyer. He wrote all 68 concession agreements in which we heard that family members and friends, some of whom were written into these contracts, that made 66 out of 68 contract bogus. So we are seeing here that Ellen Johnson have begun the restorative process. Now, what happened to you and me, the lower people?
You see, Big brother, you look at Ellen Johnson Sirleaf bringing back the people who funded the war as part of restoration. No,
but she made them.
Those people were establishing. Listen now, hold on, Big brother. Those people were establishing. Those people were airing their grievances. They lived on grievances. They were the family members. Now let me just give you disclaimer. I'm a child. My mom is completely American Liberian. My mom does not have any indigenous blood. My mom. My father is a complete man from Lofa County. So let me establish that fact there first before I go on. Now, what I'm trying to say is this: Liberia, before 1980. The TWP committed a lot of atrocities against the indigenous population, economic marginalization, massive corruption, okay, and social progress marginalization in Liberia. So they benefited. They built rubber farms, they own industry, and guess what? I love most of these people. And let me tell you something. Tobo was my hero. I will tell you, Tobo was my hero. I respected that. I studied him. I know fully well that man was a maverick. He came in the wrong time and he picked the wrong battles that caused his demise. But he came out of a political dispensation and a political ideology that exalted one tiny group of people over the majority and used the resources of the entire nation for the aggrandizement of a few over the whole. So when they were overthrown, do you know that Clarence Packer had gone into divorce proceedings? I think the divorce had already been concluded before the coup. So he and Clarence Packer were not even married when the coup took place. Okay, but she established grievance that she was one of those that were wrong. Their property was seized by the National Reacquisition Commission and all these different things. Those people were some of the reasons why Sirleaf could not deliver and advance the material well-being of the normal people, because when the normal Liberian, because when they came back to Liberia, they came with a mentality to ensure that our people will suffer for a very long time for removing them from power. That wasn't closure, big brother. That was closure. That was the re-emergence of a group of people that have committed mass atrocities against our people.
This is what we are talking about now. Now you coming around to what we are looking at people who were brought back to be made, in the legal term, whole. They came back and they were made whole. These people came back and they have been restored. So if these people have been restored, why can't we be restored by going to restoration?
They were not restored. Some of them are the very people. Some of them are the very people who contributed for Ellen to bring.
We understand this. We understand that. What I'm saying here, that they were paid handsomely, and they have most of them left the country, and they will live for the rest of their life handsomely with no fear or favor, with no worries about the economics of their lives and their children, because they were made whole. We know that. Now, what I'm saying here, what's wrong with me being made whole by me going to the round table and talking to my cousins and saying, if you committed a crime against me and you confess and remorse and apologize, we can forgive you and move forward. What's wrong with that?
Have you seen that discourse take place in Liberia? Have Prince Johnson come and say, I'm sorry for all the lives that I took. even though some in places I was overzealous or whatever, I felt I was acting my own security and security of my people that honor my command. But I'm sorry for all that I've done. Have you seen that?
But
Let me give you another example. Let me give you something personal. I remembered the Kromans and Fasu and the rest of them coming to my house in the middle of the night to ask my father to represent them on the what was the name of the thing, man? The interim council. And he said, "Do you know what information that I'll be sending to my people, the people from my mom's side? You know what information I'll be sending to my people if I took." You know, after you committed all those atrocities in Lofa County, I'm supposed to work with you. Let me say this. We have a very small country. The atrocities, I have tried to call Madingos and say, hey, in Vonjama, there have always been a tenuous existence between the Madingos and the Lomas, and it goes way back. And I tried to talk to them. I said, look, you guys committed some atrocities here. You know their reliance? That when MPP came somewhere in Bokesa, that is it Bokesa or yeah, one of those, I think Gizima Loma towns or somewhere. Bakedu. I think this one was in Bakedu. That Loma boys went with MPFL soldiers, pointed out them, and they killed the people in the mosque on Friday. So they used that. Ulimo K committed atrocities in Vonjama. Loyal rebels committed massive atrocities in Vonjama district, the entire Lofa County. They are not even prepared today to say, sorry, let's come to the table of brotherhood so that we can find a way to move forward. They are dogmatic, they are very fanatical, and they are very disrespectful in their position that they were right. They were defending Maningo people. The same thing Prince Johnson is saying today is what they are saying. They're what they have said and what they are saying. Let me tell you something. When we have the War Crimes Court, when they appear before the court, it will be at that position when they are held accountable. Let me go back again to history. The TRC, the Desmond Tutu Commission in South Africa, there were a lot of whites that committed atrocities, but they were way. Those who committed the least atrocities, they were pardoned, forgiven, and they went. And those who were held responsible for the most atrocities were sent to prison, sent to court, and the court sent them to prison. Based on the evidence gathered, not based on they say. Like the case against Yombly is a complete they say case. Okay? No proper evidence have been advanced. So my point to you is this. What happened with Madam Serif, people in that closure, that exploitation, they exploited their position. That's why they supported Madam Serif for her to come so that it would sit under the Palava Hall and discuss Liberia on a daily basis. And that's why you remember one of them said that Liberian children were found eating on the garbage dump, Meta Steel garbage dump in Bikena. Your people were formed, the kids used to go to the Meta Steel garbage dump to go and hunt for food. And Pinky, your girl, she said something very disrespectful to any living human being about that occurrence. You call that closure? That's not closure. That's exploitation.
Well,
that's exploiting.
But this is why we are saying those who believe in restorative justice. I know those of you who lean on the contrary, which is retribution. You want to punish. You want those who that are considered the perpetrator of the grievous crime to be punished. You are those who are after certain people in the Republic of Liberia, and those who are saying you are going after the wrong people. The people who are actually responsible for this war.
Prince Johnson the wrong person, sir?
Excuse me?
Is Prince Johnson one of the wrong people you're talking about?
No.
Oh, okay. So is Damate Kone one of the wrong people? Wait, let me ask you. Let go now. You can be the one asking me. Let me ask you this one.
What's about the fundraiser? The folks that raise the millions, those that purchase it, are they guilty?
Are you able to track that they raise the funds?
There you go.
Let me tell you something now. The reason why I'm asking you the questions is this. That question is this. I remember having the conversation with Paton Tonhui. about that particular thing that he wrote. He wrote a letter, and I brought that letter up to him, and I said, "This is what you said. What does it mean?" Yes, the Taylor Mayor, the Rudolph Cooper, Randall Cooper, they all contributed money, more than 10,000, Madam Selu said, and helped to spar, helped to create the war and move things forward. They were the ones who came before you said, Madam Selu gave closure to, and exploited the system, exploited the poverty and the ignorance of our people, and made so much millions of the backs of our people, and they are going back to America today. Delon is aware of the intergenerational you're talking about, telling, say, the only thing that had her in Liberia was her sister being in power. And after that, all of them will leave and go. And exactly as I'm saying it, Liberia now is a vacation spot. They don't live there anymore. What am I saying? What I'm saying is this. For there to be justice in Liberia, we must have closure for the death of impunity, so that tomorrow it will serve as an example that when there are issues, we should use the legal means to resolve our differences. Nobody should go take up arms to murder people just to advance their political aims. At the end of the day, if we do not do this, there will come a time, because guess what? The situation that existed before 1989 in December, the situation exists in Liberia today. There's economic marginalization. The poor people are suffering. There's massive inflation, massive corruption, bad governance, okay? A government that is insensitive to the plight of the poor is what we see in Liberia today. Let me say this. It's getting ripe. The fruit of rebellion is getting ripe in Liberia. If you do not establish a precedent that say, if you are one of those who will use the means of arms to advance your political agenda, will hold you responsible, it will come one day and it will happen. Don't say how it will get done.
We agree. We got 10 minutes here from our control room. We got 10 minutes here, so we're going to wrap it up and then go to our closing. But let's address the issue with the U.S. Embassy. My stand today, I was watching and following the Secretary of State on Fareed Zakari. And one of the questions came about that what is happening in Jerusalem or in the Gaza Strip with the demonstration, the rock throwing, the car burning is very similar to what's happening in Liberia on a continuous basis. And the question was, what is the U.S. doing to pressure Israel to come to the table and alleviate the pain and the suffering of the masses? And the Secretary of State said, and I quote, "The United States does not meddle in the sovereignty of another country. The U.S. does not dictate to a democratically elected democracy. The people are represented by their people. We do not dictate to them." Flip that to Liberia, where the United States has spent billions and the international community to restore democracy, to restore the rule of law, to restore the right of the people to elect their representatives, to elect people to represent who looks sound and in whom they believe. If that is the case, and the Liberian people have established a democracy where they have elected Ellen Johnson Sirleaf as their president twice, they elected President Weah as their president, and they have elected their representatives, some for the third time. Why now is the U.S. saying the Senate is unserious for electing somebody who was elected by his people and being elected in the Senate by his peers? What is the duplicity? What is the disingenuousness of a double standard foreign policy in Liberia? Unless you want to tell me that those who say he who pays the bill calls the shot. Is it because the U.S. is paying the bill in Monrovia, so they want to call the shot? But I find that to be very disingenuous, and I find it to be an infringement on our sovereignty. And your take on the issue?
You are really against the War Crimes Court, because you see your argument don't hold. The reason argument don't hold, you on one hand you say, the reason why I don't want the court. That's big brother. I don't agree with you here. The reason I don't want the court because they're hiding hands behind the scene will not be held accountable. On the other hand, again, you say, oh, the American people trying to do this because they are infringing on our sovereignty. America has been the arbiter of justice in the world. Okay, there's one thing for the president to say, "Oh, we do not get." That thing is a lame excuse for them to say. He's trying to say, "Oh, we don't get involved in the sovereignty." To Farid is an escapist statement. It's a statement of absolution. I'm absolving myself of whatever will come out of this to me, so that it doesn't come back to me. That's how I see this. Nothing will happen between the Palestinians and the Israelis without the Americans involved. So just forget about that one. With us, we are not saying, look, let me tell you, we could even go through the war crimes court and say, you know what happened? Let's just forgive everybody. But that should not stop. Even the last commander that killed an old lady that was seen, whether my brother or my sister, that should not stop the court from coming. Because if you do that, I heard another saying, everybody knows somebody in Liberia. Yes, but guess what? When you commit crime, you murder somebody, that's why the person the system holds you accountable. They hold you accountable.
Well, okay.
You if you can fight your way, my point here, if you can fight your way out of it, is your business. But the system will hold you accountable, despite all you know. You know who was Alan Yancey? Yancey, his father was the head of the TWP.
The vice president
was executed.
That's correct.
He was the head of the TWP when his son was executed. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you know. When you commit crime, you pay the price. Let me say this to you. If I know Yombly was not a soldier, a foot soldier for anybody in our 14-year civil war. If she was, that I'm not aware of, then let's establish the court and let the accusation against her be brought before the court of
George, I'm not going to allow you to escape. We are talking about we are talking about the sovereignty of the Liberian government. What came out of the U.S. embassy? Are you justifying
who is the government? Who is the government? In our constitution, who makes the government? The government is of the people, for the people, by the people.
That's correct. So
if you get around Liberia today, the government is for CDC. The government is not for CDC. The government.
But you are contradicting yourself. If the government. If the government is for the people, by the people, and of the people have elected a government, they have elected a representative, they have elected the senators, and the senators are supposed to speak on their behalf.
Yeah, what if the senator is not speaking on their behalf?
They spoke. That's not the point. They spoke. It's not you. If they spoke, if the senator or the representative is not speaking on their behalf, we have a reason, we have a system in place to remove.
No. The people will not vote for that system. The people will stand up and make the voice heard.
Let's address the sovereignty of Liberia and of the United States.
All right, now let's address it. Let me say this, brother. We elect our representatives and our senators. If they are not speaking on our behalf, our voices will be heard. We have mediums through which the people can speak.
That's correct.
If you went into Liberia today and you did a poll, who all are in favor, even those who are tuning to our show today, let's do a spot poll. If you are in favor of the war crimes court in Liberia, I see 137 persons viewing actively right now. Please put there one, just say one. That means you are in favor. Two, you are not in favor of the war crimes court in Liberia.
No.
No. Hold on. I got it flow.
I'm not going to allow you to escape it, but the sovereignty thing. You're trying to escape the sovereignty.
I am going to the sovereignty.
Liberia have the democratic right and sovereignty to her own governance.
I explained to you. I already explained to you. I said yes.
Okay.
I say yes, but guess what? Hold on now. You ask a question. Let me answer you.
The U.S. embassy is off track here.
How can the U.S. embassy be on track? How?
The U.S. embassy has no right to tell the Liberian Senate that by electing one of their own, the Liberian government is not serious. Who said that?
The man, everybody know the man have committed war crimes.
It doesn't matter. He was elected by his people.
It matters. There come a time where there would be accountability.
So you are suggesting then that we become a ward of the United States with that
at the level we can even become a ward of Sierra Leone. I will not have problem with it. Because we have a bunch of jokers there right now who don't even know what they're doing.
So you are saying that the Liberian people are jokers because they elected.
No. I'm saying the party that you support, the people in power right now.
No. Prince Johnson is not a sedition. Daylan is not a sedition.
Prince Johnson is an opportunist.
People were elected by the people. They were elected by the people.
Daylan, what did Daylan say? And Daylan is clamoring for war crimes code, right? And he's the representative of the people. He represents the largest county in terms of population in Liberia, right?
That's correct.
And he speaks for his people, right?
That's
correct.
So
he's already speaking for a very large majority.
Yeah, but he's not.
There's Steve Zago representing Lofa County. Steve Zago is for the War Crimes Code, right?
But listen to this. You and I know this. Speaking, what is actually stopping Yomli Kanga and Dara Dillon by putting forth a bill told the Congress pass it into law.
It will not pass, my man. Stop that thing, man.
So what do you mean? Why we elected these people? We elected them to put bills through.
Yeah, we agree.
So bring it through. So you are telling me
but guess what now? I'm only saying to you, I heard the president, I saw the clip of the president saying the journalists are asking a war crime code, the people asking a war crimes code, the politician asking a war crimes code, but that's why he took the issue to the national legislature. My thing to you is this. My point to you is this. Madam Salif created the blueprint for the subjugation of the national legislature by the executive. They are co-equal, and by reason of rank, the legislature should be the first branch of government. But Madam Salif was able to subjugate them and bring them under her control for 12 years. George Weah has just followed suit because the people he's dealing with, many of them are old hands in the business, the Edwin Snow, the Buffer Chambers, and all. So what I'm saying here to you is, it is not the right of the people that matters now. What matters now is who says what. That what matters. Who has the largest, the loudest voice in this dispensation we are in right now? What I'm saying to you is, when the Sierra Leoneans wanted war crime code, they did not wait for the elected officials. No, they agitated. They got on the streets. They demanded that there will be a code because they wanted accountability because of the many atrocities that were committed. For us, we are saying let it be so that people will continue. And it's not just war crimes, but economic crimes too. So Benena Ure, he will also have to answer for his crimes, even though he's a member of the CPP and an opposition politician. My man, let me be frank with you. I'm a nationalist. I do not subscribe to any individual being bigger than Liberia. Anybody who is responsible, including my own brothers and sisters, that are responsible for economic and war crimes in Liberia, they should be held accountable. I don't care. Guess what? When you go to prison, the rest of us who will not go to prison will learn that there is accountability, that impunity is a thing of the past in Liberia.
I think you. Thank you for coming around to our standard. We all agree we want an economic crime court, war and economic crime court. My stand is those who are actually responsible should bear the greater responsibility, and that is not likely to happen. Now, before we go into our closing, I want you to take your time. We want you to be very clear and precise when it comes to the Republic of Liberia, because some of us who support this government and understand what's happening, talk to me about the delegation, our Liberian delegation to the United States. What you think? What is the policy? What is the strategy? Without talking to you, what you think is it that they are doing, so we can close on this. And then
I've been following them. And before I go into that, just the thing I asked our viewers to do, all right, just a spot poll. It's like 3-1 for those who won the court. Yeah, 3-1, or even less than 3. It's even more than 3-1 because those who won the courts are.
Listen to this.
Hold on. You asked me. I'm trying to show you something.
But
Will of the people. The government is for the
listen
people,
to this.
of the people, by the people.
George, Mr. Tulay, real quick. My subject matter, my studies, my major is inequality and social stratification. That means statistics is very important to what I do.
Yeah.
We know very well that Liberia does not even have electricity. Liberia does not have internet system. The percentage of Liberians that have access to what we are doing here is 0.000001. That does not represent the view of the people.
Yeah,
This is why.
sample.
Listen to this. This is why.
It's a sample. It's 100.
Listen to this.
It's
Listen
100,
to this.
100 and 134 persons.
Listen. That is not a representative sampling. It is not scientific.
It doesn't have to be scientific.
This is what Alan White said.
Mr. Gayman, it
this
doesn't
is what
have to be
Alan White
scientific.
said. Listen to this. Alan White made it clear. The code that you are trying to actually advocate for should not be an American code. That means it shouldn't be a code for the diaspora. It has to be from the grassroots. For you to get a representative sampling, you have to go from village to village and ask those questions. You cannot have 10
I don't want people to die.
You cannot have 10 people from Liberia, from Monrovia, and then 200 people from New York or New Jersey or Florida saying we want a court. No, it's the same thing that happened to Cummings. Cummings went into Liberia thinking that he would be president because he had the population online, and he became an internet president. No, my friend, that particular taking is biased.
Issue. Let me tell you something. Yeah, hold on now. Hold on. The court issue cuts across the demographic. Liberians of all walks. Let me say this to you.
We don't have the data. Hold on. In fact, the data from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission made it clear that the people want a restorative justice. It is there.
What does it mean? Restorative justice does that mean it does not preclude or exclude the establishment of a war crimes court?
No, but they had a choice. They had a choice to your retribution. They had that, and
but we're not asking for retribution yet.
Of course. Your job is to find those who are guilty. And when you are guilty of a crime, what happens to that?
It's anachronistic, big brother. It's anachronistic.
Okay. Mr. Tulay.
Okay, hold on.
Let's go back to the delegation here.
We'll go back to the delegation, but you give me a chance to make my point. My point to you is just the people who are watching us, okay, who is just a little sampling, 130 persons from our country. I can tell you the majority
not from our country.
Yeah, from our country.
No, people from our country. People who have access.
Now leave the argument. Let me make my point. The point here is these people did not. These people are saying when you ask them, they prefer a war crimes court in Liberia, whether it will be punitive in terms of the outcomes or whether it will be restorative. The people will decide. We forgive you. Go.
They have decided.
Yeah, no. They have not decided. Nothing came out of the TRC report. Nothing came out of the TRC report that was implemented. Nothing came out of the TRC report that was implemented.
Start from scratch?
No. You don't need to start from scratch. But the point here is this: what do the people want? What do the people want? Let me tell you something now. If you go to the countryman and give him or you lead him, and then you ask a question. What you expecting to do, and that's what the samplers did. They led the people down the way they wanted them to say, because the UN was saying there is no need for punitive justice. They already precluded. They already came to a foregone conclusion that we did not need restorative justice in Liberia. Why? Because of Madame Salif. Why must it be this way? I'm not even looking at Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson just inserting himself. He's just fidgeting because he knows that when there's any real justice and accountability, he'll be held accountable. But my focus is Madame Salif. She's the one that insisted on installing a figurehead as a president so that she will control him from the back, so that she can avoid accountability.
So the crime,
let me answer your question now. Let me answer your question. The delegation that you see in America passing around, they're not going to get anything done. You know the reason why? You know the reason why? They don't have an agenda. They're not honest. They're not representing the will and the interests of the Liberian people. So they will not get anything done. We have seen countless Liberian delegations go to Washington, D.C., parade the horse of power, and meet up with influential political figures. They are not there represent the interests of the typical man that is suffering down the road that cannot find food to feed his children or pay his children's school fees. So at the end of the day, it's just an exercise in futility. They will leave and go back to Liberia. They will not accomplish nothing. And guess what? Because they're not honest. Let me tell you something. If you do not take care of corruption or even the perception of corruption in Liberia, when you're talking to the people in the West, they just be looking at you, listening to you. Diplomacy diplomacy demands that they give you hearing, that they give you, they invite you into their offices, they welcome you to speak with you. But that doesn't mean that they're listening to you.
Well, you see, my brother, that's the perception that when Ambassador Macaulay was being interviewed during his confirmation hearing, he was asked by Senator Hernandez, out of New Jersey, what would be your priority when you get to Liberia? He says, to fight the perception of corruption in this government. He's going to work with President Weah's administration to fight the perception of corruption. And he gave a caveat. He said we have representatives in every demographic, every important institution, and we have live information, real-time data. So it is left with you and myself to deal with those issues as they are. Now you talk about the delegation. You see the delegation here, and I have to I have to have a disclaimer here, because I have met with the delegation. I met with Mr. McGill here in Miami and others, so I'm in the know. And I like what they are doing. It's basically, for those of you who are familiar with the octopus, this is Operation Octopus, where they did not come only to Washington, D.C. to concentrate on photo ops, but they are in Minnesota, they are in New Jersey, they are in Florida, meeting with businesses, meeting with possible investors, presenting their case that Liberia is open for business. Can you come? Meeting with the GMs of the world. That's what it will take. The Washington thing will never work anymore, because that's what Ellie will pay a lot of money for, to be seen with the president of the United States. Joseph Boyka was saying, here is my video being at the reception at the White House. They know me. That doesn't cut it anymore. There is a paradigm shift, something back on Matthew you to prefer to, at the bottom to top politics and agenda. This is what these guys are doing, and I applaud them. They will take a lot out of this. This is going to be a new way for
wasting money.
You are taking,
Jerome, Mr. Gayman, they are wasting money. They are wasting money. They're wasting time. Let me tell you something. I have listened to people who manage enterprise funding that are investing in places like Rwanda, that are investing in Ghana. I've listened to them have talks. What they look for a system, a nation that has their work together, that know what they want, that are executing a plan, that have really made corruption an enemy of the state, that are investing in infrastructure, that have a plan for economic recovery. Enterprise funding is out there, my friend. It's not only with big corporates, but there is money out there looking for a place for investment. When you get your work together, when you do your homework, the money will come. The reason why I say it's a waste of time, they've not done their work and they're looking for money, is a waste of time. We gotta go.
Mr. Tulay, we got no time. You got 5 minutes for your closing. Wrap it up, because we got 20 minutes to the next show. 5 minutes for your closing remarks, sir.
5 minutes is too much.
Yeah, okay, we won't have time to read the comments, but go ahead.
Yeah, we will read the comments another time. Mr. Gayman, a war crimes and economic crime court in Liberia is a must. It's important for the future of the country. It's important for the advancement of the nation. It's important for future generations to come and know that people did these atrocities and they were held accountable. Accountability does not mean punitive, But the fact is, we put it on record that you committed these crimes and we know it. It's not that we're not listening to they say you've been tried in a court of competent jurisdiction and found to be a war crime committed. We know that, and we hold you accountable. We pardon you, we say go because it's been too long, or Liberian people say you can go. But guess what? It is a must that we have the war crimes code in Liberia. Also, it doesn't matter if my brother, my father, my mom, even myself, if I committed those kind of crimes, let me be held accountable. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tulay. Well articulated. For me, someone who has been in the vanguard of justice all my life, been fighting, we know this, and I know this for the fact that those who are responsible for the war in Liberia, 90% of them will never be held accountable. In fact, they have come back and looted the country and left. Those that were making $30,000, $40,000 a month for the past 12 years have made more money on an alien regime than they would have ever made in their entire lifetime. And they have left the country. They are sitting here as fat cats. In fact, more money, to even put more money into more disturbances in Liberia because they rule and enjoy chaos. As far as Mr. Dillon is concerned, I would prefer that Dillon put forth a bill that can hold me and Mr. Tulay responsible to say, at least I put this on the floor and it was rejected, or nobody listened to it. But to just say this in a vacuum, hitting your chest, beating your chest, it is not sufficient enough. It's political posturing. Ladies and gentlemen, my take on the war crime court, my take on the U.S. Embassy's response to the Liberian Senate was condescending and unprofessional, unlike a diplomatic sentence or mission. You do not tell a sovereign country that you are not serious. Now, who defines seriousness? Then the boss of all bosses were cornered today on Faraz Zakari and said, how do you deal with the system in the Gaza Strip and Israel? Then he said, we do not meddle in international and sovereign states affairs. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I know my brother here is pushing for the war crime code. So am I. I'm only concerned about those who are greatly responsible to be held responsible and to be held to account. And if those people are subtracted from the equation, then we have no justice. Until then, we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you very much. And as we leave you with a song. We are all Liberians.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our